In this video, we will talk about the rules of addition for computing probabilities. But before that, here's a quick explanation about probability. Probability is a number that describes the chance that something will happen. The number is always between 0 and 1, where 0 indicates impossibility and 1 indicates certainty. The probability of an event can be calculated by probability formula, just simply dividing the favorable number of outcomes by the total number of possible outcomes. There are some rules for computing probabilities, rules of addition and rules of multiplication. But in this video, we will only talk about the rules of addition. So, what is the rules of addition? In rules of addition, there are two rules: the special rule of addition and the general rule of addition. We begin with the special rule of addition. To apply the special rule of addition, the events must be mutually exclusive. Mutually exclusive means when one event occurs, none of the other events can occur at the same time. For example, in tossing a coin, you can toss a coin and get both a heads and tails at the same time. Tossing a heads and tossing a tails are mutually exclusive, because when tossing a heads occurs, tossing a tails cannot occur at the same time, and that's the mutually exclusive. If two events A and B are mutually exclusive, the probability of one or the other events occurring equals the sum of their probability. The special rule of addition is expressed in this formula: P of A or B equals to P of A plus P of B. P is for the probability, and A and B are the events. And for the three mutually exclusive events, A, B, and C, the rule is written as P of A or B or C equals to P of A plus P of B plus P of C. For an example of the special rule of addition based on the data from this link, pemilu2019.kpu.go.id, that said, in 2019, the number of presidential and vice presidential candidates in Indonesia was at 153,013,980 votes, and the first candidates, Joko Widodo and Maruf Amin, were 84,954,894 votes. And the second candidate, Prabowo Subianto and Sandiaga Uno, were 68,359,86 votes. The question is, what is the probability of choosing a presidential and vice presidential candidate in Indonesia? To solve this question, we have to use the special rule of addition formula: P of A and B equals to P of A plus P of B. To get the P of A, we have to divide the number of the first candidate, Joko Widodo and Maruf Amin, with the total number of the presidential and vice presidential candidates in Indonesia, and so we got to get the P of A, we have to divide the number of 84,654,894 divided with 153.8 million point 13,980 to get the P of A. And so as for the PB, we have to divide it, the number of the second candidate Prabowo Subianto and Sandiaga Uno, with the total number of presidential and vice presidential candidates in Indonesia. So 68 million point 359,000.86 divided with 153 million point 13,980, and we get the P of B. Now we get the P of A and P of B, and we put it into the formula. So we got 0.44 plus 0.55. It is equal to 0.99. So the probability of choosing a presidential and a vice presidential candidate in Indonesia was 0.99. Now we move to the general rule of addition. This rule is for the probability of two non-mutually exclusive events are happening. Non-mutual events are the events that can happen at the same time. Recall that mutually exclusive means when one event occurs, none of the other events can occur at the same time. And the non-mutually exclusive events are the events that can happen at the same time. So for an example of the non-mutually exclusive events is when driving and listening to the radio, or running and sweating, because when driving and listening to the radio can happen at the same time. Also, when running and sweating, it can happen at the same time. Have you ever heard about joint probability? If no, then joint probability is when two events will both occur. In other words, it is the likelihood of two events occurring together. It is also called the intersection of two or more events. For an example of joint probability, in this Venn diagram, the joint probability is where both circles overlap each other. And as you can see, where both circles overlap each other is in the middle of the events A and B, and that is the joint probability, and it is called the intersection of two or more events. We're back to the general rule of addition. The general rule of addition formula is the probability that A or B will occur is the sum of the probabilities that A will happen and that B will happen, minus the probability that both A and B will happen. The general rule of addition is summarized by the formula: the probability of A and B equals to the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of A and B are both occurring. For the example of the general rule of addition is based on the data from this link www.pekanbaru.go.id that said in Pekanbaru, Indonesia, the update of positive cases COVID in October 4th, 2021 in total was 51,793 cases. The cases that has been healed was 50,335, and that has been treated in the hospital was 15,093, and that has been treated in the hospital and healed was 14,965 cases. The question is, what is the probability of the cases that has been treated in the hospital and healed? Because we already know the formula of the general rule of addition, now we need to know the number of P of A, P of B, and the number of P of A and B both occurring. So to get the P of A, we have to divide the number of cases that has been healed with the number of the total cases. And we got the result is 0.97. And to get the P of B, we have to divide the number of cases that has been treated in hospital with the number of the total cases, and we got 0.29. And to get the number of P of A and B both occurring, we have to divide the number of cases that has been treated in hospital and healed with the number of the total cases. And we got 0.28 because we already got all the number we needed. Now put the number to the formula. So 0.97 plus 0.29 minus 0.28 equals to 0.98. What is the difference between the special rule of addition and the general rule of addition? If we compare the general and the special rules of addition, the important difference is determining if the events are mutually exclusive. If the events are mutually exclusive, then the joint probability P of A and B is 0, and we could use the special rule of addition. Otherwise, we must account the joint probability and use the general of addition. Thank you for watching.